The following is the video solution from JSDT Solutions. Question 9 says, the diagram below represents a printed poster. Rectangle ABCD, this rectangle that we have over here, is the part on which the text is printed. The shaded area ABCD is 432 centimeters squared and AD is equal to X. So let's mark that. ABCD is 4 centimeters from the left and right edges of the page. As we can see, 4 centimeters like that, and 3 centimeters from the top and bottom of the page. And the question is to show that the total area of the page is given by this. So they want us to find the total area of the page given the area of the shaded part and what the sides are. Okay, so with these sides, here is what we can see. They told us that this is X, right? So we can actually look at it as this, the dimensions of the page. This is X over here, okay? That would represent X. And then you can see that this is 4 centimeters from the shaded to the edge of the page. So we have 4 centimeters here and then 4 centimeters here. So this is X plus 8 centimeters. That would make up the length of the page. And then the width of the page would be this little part, which we didn't really call anything. We can call it Y or something else. But that, I guess I'll just call it AB. That part is going to be that plus the 3 centimeters, which would make up this part, that's 3 centimeters, and 3 centimeters on the bottom, okay, which makes up that part. And let's attempt to find this area. We're looking at the area right now. It's not a good idea because we don't know what AB is. So we need to find an expression for AB. And that's where the information that they gave us comes in. They told us that ABCD, the area of the shaded part, is 432 centimeters squared. Do you see that the shaded part has AB and X? So it means that for them to have gotten that area, they must have said X multiplied by AB to get that. Okay, so we know that that area is 432. So 432 equals X multiplied by AB. And we just needed an expression for AB so we can actually work with that. So to get AB on its own, you can divide both hand sides by X, and therefore AB equals 432 over X. And there we go. Okay, so we've got an expression for AB now. And now that we have this is just 432 over X. We can finally find the area of the entire page. The entire page is X plus 4 centimeters and the other 4 centimeters. Okay, that's the length of the page. And then the width or the breadth is going to be 3 plus 3 and then AB, which is 432 over X. Okay, so the area of the page would be equal to, we'll take all of that, which is 8 plus X. So we can say X plus 8. And we're going to multiply, that's the length. We'll multiply it by the breadth, which is 6 plus that. Okay, so that's going to be, we can just start with the thing with X. Okay, so 432 over X and then plus 6 centimeters. So that's length times breadth. And now we can see this is in terms of X. So this is the area of the page in terms of X is equal to, and let's distribute. So we multiply here. What will happen is you see that the X and the X would cancel because you're saying X times 432 over X. So the X's cancel and you're just left with 432. And then they multiply there, and that's just going to be positive 6X. And then multiplies to this. So what's 8 times 432? That is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6. But remember, it's 8 times 432 over X. So over X. And then lastly, 8 times 6 is 48. So this is what we have. So A of X is equal to, and we'll just add our constants together. Let's just look at how they wrote it. So they put the 3, 4, 5, 6 first. So that is 3,456 over X plus 6X. And then these add together. So that's going to be a 10, a 7, 80, 480. Okay, plus 480. 480. And that is our answer. That is the area of the entire page in terms of x. Question 9.2 says, determine the value of x such that the total area of the page is a minimum. But you just need to determine the value of x, not the actual minimum area, okay? So the value of x such that the total area is a minimum. Okay, so you can kind of see this as it's the same idea of when we have a turning point. So we can have, let's say, concave parabola, and you're trying to find out what its minimum value is. So at this point, this is where it is stationary. It is no longer increasing nor decreasing. So this is where the gradient is equal to 0. And we know that to get the gradient of this function, we would derive it. So that's really what we're going to do here. We have a of x, and we're going to derive that and set it equal to 0 to find out what that minimum is, or really the x value at which it will be a minimum. So we'll say a prime of, well, we're not ready to derive yet. Do you see that the x is still in the denominator? It needs to move to the numerator so that you can properly derive. So this is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, and then x. And when you move it up to the numerator, the exponent becomes negative. And then plus 6x plus 480. Now we can derive. So a prime of x is equal to coefficient times exponent. This will be negative 3, 4, 5, 6x raised to the power of exponent minus 1, negative 2. And then plus 6. The x falls away because of 1 minus 1, giving you 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay. And then the constant also falls away because the gradient of a constant is 0 because it is a flat line, a flat horizontal line. So we set the derivative equal to 0, and this is still this, but we can just take this opportunity to bring that x down to the denominator again. Sorry, that is a 6 over x squared and then plus 6. And then we can take this over since it's negative. So it becomes positive 3, 4, 5, 6 over x squared equals 6. Okay, to solve for x, we can cross multiply. So that's going to be 6x squared is equal to, and this 3, 4, 5, 6 will multiply with the natural denominator of 1 here. So that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, and divide both hand sides by 6. X squared equals 576, so 576. And then you see that we have to find the square root. Okay, so square root both hand sides, but this is an equation, so we have a positive and negative solution. And x is equal to, now here's the thing, you see x here and what it represents. X is the length, okay? It is the length of this side, which you can see is not negative. So we're going to use the positive answer, okay? So square root of this number, and we're only going to consider the positive. And this means that x is equal to 24 centimeters, okay? Regardless, they were both going to be, x is either 24 centimeters or negative 24 centimeters, but we're going to take the positive. Okay, so that is the last question for question 9, and that is our answer.